Welcome to a new program that we have here through the Rural Radio Network. It's called Cattle Call, a great opportunity to find out what's been happening in these markets as we look not only in the last couple of days, but what we're going to see into the near future. And we're going to have Brad Kooima joining us with Kooima Varilek out of Sioux Center, Iowa. So, Brad, what an opportunity to talk about this cattle market. And I just want to reiterate to folks that, yeah, you trade the cattle, but you live the cattle as well as a producer.
Well, yes, thank you I think this is a nice idea. I look forward to this, Susan. I fed my first set of cattle in 1974. I was a sophomore in high school. I'm not sure that that's a great idea for everyone. My dad thought I was old enough. I still have an acquaintance with that Shovel Dot Ranch, actually, is still in existence. I've actually ran into him at one of the NCBA conventions. It's kind of sentimental. I started being a broker in 1980. Come from a family that cattle is what we do. There's more to me than just cattle, but from a business standpoint, certainly cattle is kind of what I think about when I get up in the morning, both feeding them and trying to figure out how to trade futures.
Well, let's look at this cash market. As you look at the last couple of days, we came off a cattle on feed report on Friday, started trading Monday, kind of set the tone for the week.
Right, like we have been doing here post-COVID. Once these packers start to come back, you continue to have a couple of the packers that do show a bit of leadership, if you can call it that, I guess, at least, with some, while they're quite selective, but a little bit of bidding. There was some 97. There was a little bit of 95 up here more toward the north. One of the majors had 156 on a handful of cattle. And I think some of the smaller outfits in that 153 to 4 range. And cattle continue to move that way, Susan. Unfortunately, it's we really feel like we're just, market takers. If you get a bid, you kind of go like, well, I better sell them because they're getting too big. And so that's where we're at here again. And another week, much like the last several, but we continue to stair-step the market down. And we keep stair-stepping the box beef values down as well.
Are we going to see a lot more outside market influences coming into this cattle market?
Today was an interesting day, and I think that's a good question there, where we had, unfortunately, this COVID business, just hangs around like a bad story, and the stock market buckled up pretty hard today from that. Crude oil did not have a good day, one might react that, well, 85 lower on August cattle maybe wasn't so bad, given some of the outside market influences. I can tell you, though, there's a lot of cattle traders that the first thing they're looking at when they get up in the morning is what the stock market's doing. And I think that's a reflection for fear that our reopening of the economy is not going to come quickly and as quickly as we'd like it to. So another resumption of the restaurant trade, the confidence to go out, and there's even a little worry that, as you're seeing all these different spikes again in the COVID cases, let's certainly hope we don't have to go through another packing plant slowdown or stoppage. So uncertain times.
Well, speaking of that, packing plants, we're starting to see those numbers pick up a little bit. And I know it's asking you to look in your crystal ball, but when can we possibly be back to that old norm when it comes to processing numbers?
Well, that's a great question. In fact, it is the question in my estimation. If you're a fundamental analyst, easy for you to say, huh? If you have fundamentally. It seems to me, well, first of all, this week we're going to maybe kill 670. We've only killed 670 one other week this year yet. So we'll see if they get it off with a big enough Saturday. We might. And then you start to do the math of how many cattle you've backed up. I know there's some very smart guys out there that think it's over 1 million, 1.1, 1.2. I would be a little less than that because I think we were very current at the beginning of COVID. I think that there was actually less northern yearlings than what the industry really thought. But so you pick a number somewhere in there that maybe we're backed up, say 750,000 to grab a number. Now you got to balance that with starting in February when we saw the placements collapse. February, March, April, those 3 months placements were down about 810,000 to be exact year on year. So where does that, carrying that great big wave of the extra cattle, where does that meet up with that, shortfall? I don't know. I guess I would like to say that if we could kill 660, 70, I worry about fatigue, from this, really it's just, you got these guys running them hard 6 days a week. And if you get a COVID situation, whether we can actually do that logistically, but if that would fall that way, I could see that maybe by sometime shortly after Labor Day, that maybe we could get to, maybe by October, that we could get to more of a balanced supply.
All right. At least we know we can hit that final quarter of the year, maybe into some positive news.
I still have some optimism that by the time we get to November, December, that we can have a pretty good market back. I certainly hope so. The guys need it desperately.
Well, as we wrap everything up, I wanted to look back to Tuesday because you brought it up before we started the cattle call, and it was an algorithm type of day is how you call Tuesday. How do you market when something like that goes on?
Yeah, no kidding. That's the old days, and I'm an old guy. You'd had some kind of a sense, from what was going on in the pit, short covering, commercial buying, selling something. Clearly these HFT algorithmic type traders are very, very influential. And we did have very big volume yesterday, and we did have a nice up in the open interest, all positive to reinforce the fact that the update was of some importance. Unfortunately, we didn't follow through today, which is a little disappointing. But remember, an algorithm is almost exclusively a day trader type of a personality. So it looked like yesterday they kind of, one of those deals where they got the shorts on the run for a change finally, and we were able to race through those orders, had the market briefly limit up. But it seems like anymore, after 40 years of this, it used to seem to be important. Well, what happened yesterday, and then what happens on the day behind that? And now anymore, it seems like you've got a market that's, well, okay, our little 5.5 hours is over, start all over again tomorrow. Whatever we did today holds less significance in terms of what it means for tomorrow. So I would like to think somewhere here we could stop going down, much like the corn finally just stopped going down at 320. It wasn't really that there was such good news there, but it just finally seemed to run out of sellers. I am not optimistic. I'm a glass half full guy. That. I like to give you something to hang your hat on. We just got so many cattle to work through the next 60 to 90 days that I think we still have to just, really, really be cautious.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks so much, Brad, for joining us this week, and look forward to catching up again next week.
Me too. Thank you.
Brad Kooima has been joining us, and that's this week's Cattle Call on the Rural Radio Network.